A very good afternoon to you and welcome to News First's Lunchtime News. You're with me, Krishan Devasagayam. Let's start off with a look at this afternoon's headlines. GMOA token strike called off. Patients severely inconvenienced. Norway's Foreign Ministry State Secretary arrives in the island. Minor floods reported in the vicinity of the Kaluganga. Several areas at risk of landslides. Lankan pace bowler Shaminder Ranga reported for suspected bowling action. And in your top story this afternoon, OPD and clinical activities at many hospitals across the island were hampered following the token strike that was launched by the Government Medical Officers Association. The strike was called off this afternoon. The GMOA commenced the strike at 8 this morning. The GMOA claims that irregularities were committed when granting the post-internship appointment register. However, during a media briefing held yesterday, Director General of Health Services Dr. Palitha Mahipala said that discussions on the issue can still be carried out, while the Minister of Health Dr. Rajitha Senaratne said that the medical strike called is an unfair one. The medical director of the Kandy Teaching Hospital says that patient admittance will carry out as usual despite the strike. He also added that activities in the emergency and intensive care unit will also be carried out as usual. News First correspondent of the Kandy district Herath Ekanayaka reports that patients have been severely affected due to this medical strike. Meanwhile, our correspondent stated that activities at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital have been disrupted following the strike by the GMOA. Our correspondents in Chilau say that patients have been severely affected due to the hampering of activities at the Chilau General Hospital following the strike. The Puttalam General Hospital is the only general hospital for the district. Norway's Foreign Affairs Ministry State Secretary Tore Hatrem arrived in the country today. Manager of the Katunayaka International Airport stated that the State Secretary Tore Hatrem arrived in the island at around 8:45 am along with a few other representatives. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that the objective of the visit is to engage in a follow-up to the visit in January this year by the Foreign Affairs Minister Borge Brende. Norway's Foreign Affairs Ministry State Secretary is scheduled to meet opposition leader R. Sambandhan, Minister of International Trade Malik Samaravikrama and Minister of City Planning and Water Supply Rauf Hakim, and is also to meet Secretary General of the Secretariat Manu Tithawala regarding a reconciliation mechanism. Now, the National Building Research Organisation says that the landslide warnings issued for 5 districts is still in effect. Head of the Landslide Studies and Services Division at the National Building Research Organisation, RMS Bandaru, said that locals in the Kandy, Kegalle, Nuwara, Ratnapura and Kalutara districts must remain vigilant. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology says showers can be expected across many areas of the island today. Now, the National Housing Development Authority says that they will conduct a formal census for the houses which were damaged by the floods. The chairman of the authority, Sagar Palansurya, said that necessary steps are being taken regarding this matter. He went on to note that the Joint Housing Development Programme will commence from next month. Now, moving on to more local news, 7 Indian fishermen were arrested for violating the maritime boundary and fishing in the northwestern seas of Talimana. Navy media spokesperson Captain Akram Alavi stated that a trawler was also taken into custody along with the individuals. The Navy said that the individuals were residents of the Rameshwaran area. The detained will be handed over to the Manna Fisheries Inspections Office for further inspections. You're watching News First Lunchtime News, and in more local news, Namal Karunaratne, chairman of the All Ceylon Peasants Federation, charges that responsible authorities had failed to attend a discussion targeting the human-elephant conflict that has battered the Polpitigama Divisional Secretariat in Kurunegala. The meeting was expected to take place at the Polpitigama Divisional Secretariat.
Minister of Internal Affairs, Vayamba Development and Cultural Affairs, S.P. Navinna, Minister of Wildlife, Jayavikrama Pereira, State Minister of Lands, T.B. Ekanayaka, were scheduled to conduct the meeting, but none of the officials were present yesterday. The locals were not pleased with their absence. This meeting was called for by the government and not us. We were there. You mentioned this at the coordinating meeting. If you were to make any decisions, you could have even called the divisional secretary and the MPs at the meeting will not take place. You have not fulfilled your responsibility. You have evaded it. We did not get any message. You are from the government. You call for it and do not waste our time.
You as a woman, people would have just had their own idea of maybe even telling you and discouraging you.
Yes, I mean, as a woman, I'm really extremely proud, and this is seen as now a form of activism, I think, by many, and I'm very glad about that because it is a message also, and I think that was also my motivation, was also just to show that women can also do this.
A close conversation with the first Sri Lankan who summited Mount Everest, Janthi Kurutumpala, and a fellow mountaineer, Johan Pires. Tonight at 9:30 p.m. on TV1.
And that's a wrap of lunchtime news. But before we go, CCTV cameras have captured the manner in which two women were engaged in the theft of saris from a store in Nugegoda. We leave you this afternoon with footage of this robbery. I'm Krishan Devasagayam for News First. Have a pleasant day ahead.